AITA for not letting my miracle baby niece be my flower girl at my wedding? My 27F older brother and Sil, both mid-30s, just welcomed their first child a year and a half ago, after years of trying. After many failed attempts, Sil was told that she wouldn't be able to conceive due to a medical condition she has. They finally got pregnant. Since having my niece, the baby has been the center of attention at every family even we've had since she was born. Birthdays, weddings, family get-togethers, you name it. Now don't get me wrong, I love my niece, but it can get to be a little too much when my Sil goes on and on about how long they tried to conceive, complications they've had, miscarriages they've had, etc. Like a little too much info. Many family members have commented on how it's a little bit excessive, but no one has said anything because they don't want to sound like an ah. Anyway, I'm getting married in the spring and my brother and Sil approached me last weekend about having my niece be the flower. My fiancé, 35M, has 2 children, 10M and 6F, from his previous marriage. His son is one of his groomsmen while his daughter had asked to be our flower girl when we told them the news that we were getting married a year ago, as it's something she always wanted to do, so of course we said yes. So I explained this to my Sil when she asked me about my niece. She asked if my stepdaughter can just carry my niece with her. I said I don't think she'd be comfortable with that, considering she's then asked why I can't give that role to my niece, and allow herself to carry my niece down as the flower girl. I said no because I already promised my step, then starting going off about how my lack of effort to incorporate my niece is disgusting to her. I should honor her in some way since I know how long and hard they tried for my niece. Now I may sound like an ah for this, but I kind of got fed up and snapped and said, incorporate my niece how? By the time the wedding comes around she'll be 2 years old. The entire family already knows your story about how long and hard you guys tried for her. What more do you expect me to do to honor her? She started crying and said that clearly I don't love my one and only niece and I'm letting her down. I said of course I love my niece, and obviously she's going to be involved in pictures and stuff. But I'm not going to let my stepdaughter down by giving my niece a role she's too young to remember anyway. Well, now Sil and my brother are off with me for not letting my niece be flower girl, and are running around telling the rest of the family I don't love my niece. My mom had been trying to stay neutral but thinks my stepdaughter would understand if I explained to her I need to give that role to my firm in my decision though, and my fiancé is thankful that I didn't let his daughter down. AITA for not allowing my niece to be the flower girl?
Greater than thinks my stepdaughter would understand if I explained to her I need to give that role to my, unlike you, a regular kid. My niece is a miracle baby, and therefore more important and deserving, even though she's a toddler and less closely no. Good job standing up for your choices and your stepdaughter. NTA.
NTA, she's their miracle baby. Not fact that they want you to disappoint your soon-to-be stepdaughter, in order to make the daughter the focus of your wedding is absurd.
They don't understand why breaking a promise to your future stepdaughter is a bigger issue than letting your sister carry her toddler down the aisle. They're self-centered out. This is you making sure your stepchildren are welcome and feel like they belong. Put your foot down. Your niece is not more important than your stepdaughter to you, any more than your stepdaughter would not be more important than your niece to her.
That poor little baby. Your Sil needs to get some counseling while the child is still young enough, or she's going to ruin that little girl's life with her weirdness. Entitlement, expectations, the burden of being made to feel special just for having been born. That poor kid should get the chance to have a normal childhood. This is probably not the right time, but when this ridiculousness blows over, hopefully, you should suggest to your brother that your Sil see a therapist about these feelings. NTA for standing up for your soon-to-be stepdaughter. 6 is old enough for this to be an important day for her.
NTA. Your wedding, your choice. Your Sil is lucky you didn't say, no children under X age, because that is becoming super popular.
NTA. Do not, for the love of all things holy, let your niece be flower girl. Your Sil needs to learn that her kid is not more important to you than your soon-to-be stepchildren. You are taking on a big role in the lives of these children and they have to know that you are going to stick up for them. This is the hill, and if you need to die on it with your Sil, then so be it.
Honestly, Sil will try to make her daughter the center of attention. Denying her request just gives her less of a platform. The relationship you're creating with your bonus children is very important and delicate. Do not back down. I guarantee everyone she is telling that you don't love your niece knows she's full of BS. These manipulative tactics are to get you to change your mind. Sil is just trying to feed the attention train that is dwindling since her miracle daughter is almost 2. Stay strong and maybe ask a friend to be a buffer between you and her on the day of. Congratulations, NTA.
AITA, be prepared for her to turn up with her dressed as a flower girl anyway with her own petals and two though. Warn the photographer that you don't want them pictured any more than any other of the attendees either, as I bet they would use it as a free photo shoot. Maybe even the DJ too, so there is no improved speech about how she's just so happy to be here with her miracle baby and husband for this lovely occasion blah blah blah. I see in a comment you did contemplate a minimum age, and if you have the balls I'd go for it to avoid all of the above.
NTA, your family is cracked in the head if they think that you should treat someone else's kid like they are your kid at the expense of your literal step, like your stepkid is your. Ask them why they are refusing to honor and love your stepkids.
NTA, hold your sympathies to the baby though. Imagine growing up your whole life being told you're a miracle and the center of the universe. That's going to be one messed up kid.
NTA, let them be. If ever there was a time to take a stand for your stepdaughter, it is now. Without knowing her story, or how she came to be part of your life. She's 6 years old, and you've made a commitment to be in her life. The moment you make it official revolves around her as much as it does. Absolutely have every right to honor the stepdaughter over the niece, and these first moments as stepmom are going to cause the ripple that forms the pond that is your relationship for her whole me. If you back down now, and give her spot away, it's going to ruin more than just your thanks for all the upvotes. I never expected all that smiling face with hearts. Thank you for the awards. Starstruck.
NTA*, and I think it's very concerning, and very telling about how spoilt your niece is likely to become, that your Sil didn't even try to frame this as just finding a way for your niece participate, which might have been understandable, but had the sheer gall to suggest to you that you and your partner, the actual bride and groom, owed it to her miracle child to honor her at your wedding. She actually suggested that this child deserved to be a, if not the, person of honor on your special day. Several years after her mean, how many years does she intend to keep this up for? How many years does she intend to spend insisting that other people honor her child at their occasions, in place of themselves and their own immediate family members? It's not just that it's obnoxious, it's genuinely unhealthy for this poor kid. She's being put on a pedestal and taught that she is different from and above all, not just other children but literally everyone else from her life. They're basically worshipping her, and it's not that I don't get it. Aside from siblings who struggled with infertility, I have a very, very close friend whose infertility battle meant that he and his wife were married nearly 20 years before they were able to have a beautiful, healthy, bio child of their own. Can you imagine? Almost 2 decades. Theirs was a miracle in the truest sense. And yet, do you know what they don't do? Ask other people to worship their kid or place them at the center of their own special occasions. In fact, they're thrilled to pieces just to hear that people love their kid and think they're doing a good job as parents. That's enough for them. The gift of being parents after all this time, and to see people love their sweet, well-mannered child. You are NTA, but your Sil is doing that kid a disservice. Your response is completely appropriate. Your wedding is not the place to honor someone else's 2-year-old. Not even a beloved rainbow baby niece.
Sweet Jeebus, you are NTA. Incorporating a 2-year-old is hard enough. You are absolutely doing the right thing by incorporating your stepdaughter. It's great that your Sil was finally able to conceive, but her struggles to have a baby are now over. Just because it was a challenge, that doesn't mean your niece needs to be the center of attention at every family event. She's potentially harming her child by putting this kind of focus on her. Bottom line is you did nothing wrong and your Sil is taking this too far.
Niece is going to be a nightmare if brother and Sil keep it up. This miracle baby stuff is so obnoxious. I guess my baby would be a miracle baby too, but why would I go on and on about my infertility to everyone I know and throw myself a pity party over it? The baby is going to be a normal baby, like everyone else's. 2 years old is too young for a flower girl. You never know how they are going to behave, and with all the other things going on at a wedding, it's one more thing to have to worry about. I had my 4-year-old nephew be the flower boy, and he threw a tantrum and didn't even go out, which was a huge pain in my op. Shouldn't even give her sister the time of day on this. Definitely NTA.
And they need to drop this attitude. because they are headed to a super spoiled kid if they don't stop thinking everything in the world revolves around her.
Sister wanted the 6-year-old stepdaughter to carry the toddler, which, just, no.
Big, blows out other kids' birthday candles, vibes from this. Their miracle baby might be on the way to becoming a monster if OP's sister keeps up with this mentality.
Best response on this thread. My journey to motherhood wasn't easy, lots of loss and pain. So I empathize with her Sil, it can really mess you up. OP's Sil isn't doing her child any favors by treating her like this. I agree she needs to work with professional to help her heal. She likely doesn't realize that she's making those around her uncomfortable. I feel for the kid because if her mom doesn't get help, babe will turn into an entitled monster.
Trust me, I was debating on making an age limit, but I was trying to save myself from the drama that would cause.
I agree. Plus I am dreading how obnoxious that kid might become, since it doesn't sound like the parents will actual parent her at all.
Straight up tell Sil, why is your daughter more important than mine? Either she won't have an answer or she'll herself with the answer she gives.
I 100% came from a family with 2 divorced parents myself, and I'll never forget how I felt when at my dad and stepmom's wedding I wasn't included in it at all, yet my younger brother was one of that experience myself. I'd never want my stepdaughter to feel that way, or that she isn't involved in such a special just cause so much drama in the family that is so unnecessary.
I was just thinking miracle baby is probably going to be raised to be a monster.
They're trying to set the expectation that their baby means more than anyone else's baby, and for that kid's whole life they're going to expect special treatment. And like a 2-year-old would even remember this. A 2-year-old wants to be playing and eating some crackers, not dressing up and going through some lengthy process.
My niece is 3, a similar situation to the op of the post. Wife's brother had a kid after years of not being able to. His wife ended up being they divorced and he got custody, etc. Difference being he threw up enough of a fit that she was allowed to be the flower girl because my wife felt bad about not including her, officially. It was a very small 12-person ceremony, so they leverage. But she'll already be there. She dumped all the petals before the aisle and then proceeded to scream the rest of the ceremony about being out of flowers. 0 tenths would no repeat.